been watching quite a lot of those housing programs at the moment because I'm never going to be able to afford a house, so I may as well be watching other people struggle to do it. They always follow a similar pattern. There's that one where I think it's called location, where they basically they say there's always it always start, it'll be Jemima and Steve have been living in the city for quite a while, and they've got and they want to have, now they're starting a family. They'd like to have some space. They've decided to move out to the countryside, and so we've sent Kirsty along to 3 different houses to see which one would be of interest to them. They have a budget of around £300,000 to £400,000, and one of the main criteria of interest for them is space. They plod along to the first house. Kirsty is there, all chippy and sort of sarky and everything, and immediately riles the woman every single time. You can tell because maybe she flirts with the man off camera. I'm not quite sure, but anyway. Go into the house, shows them around. It's a lovely open space, and it's got an Aga. It's on the edge of a small village, quite near a larger town. So if you need to do your weekly Tesco shop, you can. And then of course the woman is unhappy. She's sort of walking around like this. Stephen, I don't like the wallpaper. And then he's embarrassed and saying, well, obviously we can change that. That's not a big thing. I don't like the wallpaper, Stephen. But darling, look at this place. It's wonderful. Look at the garden. Imagine the children playing in the garden. She'll look over the sort of the grass is too long. We're leaving, and she'll potter on. He'll potter off. He'll have to go with her. Kirsty will roll her eyes as if the whole thing's hilarious. But you can see she's annoyed. She knows what she's in for. She does it every week. They'll go to the second house, and of course this will be slightly different. This will be maybe larger, out of town a little bit more. Of course, maybe too isolated. But the woman, the wife, you can't really say anything at this point because she's aware she's complained too much. She shows up as well in a slightly better mood because you can tell the couple have had an argument, and that they know that they came across badly in the first one. So she'll be like, oh yeah, no, it's very nice, but I just can't. How much is it again? Slightly out of our budget, isn't it? Isn't it, darling? Well, no, obviously for a house like this, it's slightly out of our budget, isn't it, darling? Yeah, yes, my love, that'll happen. And then she'll complain about sort of a faulty kettle or something. And that'll be her excuse, and plod on to the third house. And of course, at this point, Kirsty's frustrated, so she's arranged a viewing at some sort of, isolated lighthouse on the edge of a rock off the coast of Anglesey or something. And again, the woman can't really complain because she knows she's complained too much, so she'll make her husband do it, and she'll be walking around furiously, and he'll say, well, we think this is maybe too isolated. And Kirsty will say, what are you lot like? What are you like, eh? For heaven's sake, I've shown you 3 good houses. And you can see the murder in the woman's eyes, thinking, I can't believe I've agreed to this. But then they have to pick one, so they do, and then Kirsty will say, no, all along, house number 1, the rest of the time was a complete waste of time, wasn't it? Although it wasn't, because you need to make a TV programme. The format has been established, so we need to see the 3 houses regardless of what they think. And then the other one is that one with the Kevin McLeod guy, which is equally hilarious. It's always him. So he's an architectural snob. This fellow, he's sort of walking and with his cravat or his scarf and his it's an absolutely wonderful structure. You can imagine just the sheer level of artisanship that's gone into the blah 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 blah. And he'll go meet some family in Bristol or something. He'll talk like that, we've been married for about 3 years, and we just always wanted to build our own house. And often they're not. Often it's summertime. They're in woods, and the man's not wearing a top, and he's got maybe a shark necklace and hair. Anyway, he'll have this ridiculously ambitious plan to build some sort of 4-bedroom house for him and his wife. McLeod will walk, okay, so, have you got any experience of this? No experience at all. I've been watching lots of videos of people cutting beams and, putting in light bulbs and stuff. Right, okay, and what do you guys do for a job? Well, my wife looks after children, and I work in a garden centre. And you're building a 4-bedroom house. Well, money's not everything. I'll see you in 6 months. McLeod goes off, comes back 6 months later. At this point, it's always raining whenever he comes back. Worms his way into the forest where this house is being built. Sees a little exposure, and it's just it's the man. Just at this point, he's kind of dead behind the eyes. His wife left him 2 months ago. He's been sleeping on a mattress in a sort of exposed part that's just raining on him, and he's on the phone. Just I don't. How many pipes do I? What? I don't know how to wire a house. And then they'll come in and he'll try and act like, it's going. Yeah, it's obviously more difficult than I thought, but it's a challenge is a challenge. And I just, where's your wife, Daniel? Where's your wife? She's moved out for a little bit because she's. I know her and the kids. She can't be living here at all. while I build it. Well, why haven't you moved out? I'm not allowed. And then, of course, you know, Kevin McLeod will sort of walk in with he'll say, do you know what, the vision here is great, you just need to keep going, okay? And then I'm pretty sure they give him a bit of money behind the camera, you know, just to get the TV programme made. And then they'll go back another 6 months later, and by this point the wife's there with him, and they're kind of putting on a brave face, grimacing, smiling, because they know that they have to present a united front, even though the whole ordeal has just wrecked their marriage. And the house looks nothing like they planned. It's just a sort of arch of bridge, almost like a brick igloo that they're having to pretend is great because they put up some pictures. Anyway, I really like these programmes, and as I say, I'm never going to be able to afford a house myself, so I might as well enjoy watching other people fail to build their own.